Are you seeking to truly understand and interpret the word of truth? As believers, it is crucial for us to study and show ourselves approved unto God, rightly dividing the scriptures. 2 Timothy 2:15. The Bible, the precious word of truth, is made up of two covenants, the Old Testament and the New Testament. God desires us to handle both covenants with precision, acknowledging their unique purposes and instructions. In Matthew 9:17, Jesus himself differentiated between the Old and New Testaments. He likened the Old Testament to old wine, old clothes and old wineskins, while describing the New Testament as new wine, new clothes, and new wineskins. He warned against mixing the two, emphasizing the potential damage and loss that can result. Attempting to merge teachings from the Old and New Testaments can lead to confusion and error. It is in the New Testament era that we should look to the teachings and commandments of Christ, the apostles, and prophets for guidance and understanding. Now let us address a specific topic that often sparks debates among believers: tithing. Is it right to pay tithe today? The Apostle Paul instructs us to practice what we have learned, received, heard, and seen in him. Philippians 4:9. When it comes to tithing, however, we find no teachings from the apostles, nor do we see any examples of it in the New Testament era. Therefore, teaching believers to pay tithes goes against the principles of the law of liberty, James 1:25. But before you dismiss the idea of giving, let us explore the concept of giving from a biblical perspective. The scriptures often instruct us to support those who preach the gospel. 1 Corinthians 9:11-14. When it comes to giving, the Bible provides clear instructions. Give willingly, not out of obligation or necessity. 2 Corinthians 9:6-7. Give cheerfully, as you purpose in your heart. 2 Corinthians 9-7. Give in proportion to your prosperity. 1 Corinthians 16:1-2. Give without grudging or reluctance. 2 Corinthians 9:7. The example of Abraham is often mentioned as it relates to giving. He willingly gave a tithe, or 10% of his possessions, to Melchizedek. Hebrews 7:1-10. In the New Testament era, we have the freedom to voluntarily give tithes, also at a rate of 10%, to support God's work. Giving anything between 0.9% is considered an offering, while giving above 10% can be seen as a sacrificial offering. 2 Corinthians 9:6-7. Remember, God loves a cheerful giver. 2 Corinthians 9:7. Lastly, let us address the administration of tithes and offerings collected by churches from Christians under their pastoral care. According to the scriptures, Christians have the freedom to give offerings, tithes, sacrifices, thanksgiving, and profit offerings to advance God's kingdom, all without compulsion. James 1:25. In fact, God is pleased when we prioritize his kingdom and righteousness. Matthew 6:33. This prioritization brings blessings from heaven, fulfills God's promises, and opens the floodgates of abundance. Malachi 3:10-12, 2 Corinthians 1:20. In conclusion, as we dive into the word of truth, let us handle it with precision and understanding. While the Old Testament and New Testament serve unique purposes, it is in the teachings and commandments of Christ, the apostles and prophets in the New Testament era, that our conduct and teachings should be guided. When it comes to tithing, there is no direct command from the apostles, but the principle of giving is still emphasized. We are encouraged to give willingly, cheerfully, proportionately, and without reluctance. Remember, God loves a cheerful giver. If you found this message meaningful, please share, like, and subscribe to help spread the truth far and wide. May God bless you abundantly as you continue to seek his will and handle his word rightly.